Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the Daily Office Lectionary. And before we start, I do covet your prayers today. I am having surgery this morning. I have to be at the hospital at 10 a.m. For some prostate surgery. Not cancer, thanks be to God, but anyway, I'll be kind of out of circulation for a day or two while they do this procedure. So I will make sure that I pre-record these morning meditations for Friday and Saturday, just in case, and they will appear at the right time, God willing. But thank you for your prayers in advance. Today I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at the lesson that's assigned for morning prayer from the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians. Now, it's funny, I saw a silly meme on Instagram this week, which had a guy dressed kind of as a Corinthian, and he's holding a letter, and he was singing from the show Blue's Clues. We just got a letter, we just got a letter. And of course, the written on there is like, the excitement over this community in Corinth, they're getting a letter from Paul and not realizing they're about to be roasted. And in fact, Paul is pretty harsh with the people in Corinth because they've gone astray. They're living in a very hard place. The city of Corinth was kind of sin city. It was where the temple cult of prostitution took place in that particular society. So all sorts of naughtiness was going on there. And so Paul is helping them to deal with all sorts of things, including dietary issues. Because remember, the dietary restrictions of the original covenant have been done away with. Jesus Christ has said that it's not what goes into our mouth that makes us unclean, but what comes out of our mouth. And so it is, and also St. Peter had that vision with the angels bringing down the food and saying that there's nothing unclean that God has made. So, but they're still struggling on, if that's true, then what about food that's been sacrificed to idols? So here's St. Paul, the first letter to the Corinthians, the 10th chapter, beginning at the 23rd verse. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful for me, but not all things edify. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. But if any of them that believe not bid you to a feast, and ye be disposed to go, whatsoever is set before you, eat, asking no question for conscience sake. But if any man say unto you, what is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not for his sake that showed it, and for conscience sake. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Conscience, I say not thine own, but of the other. For why is my liberty judged of another man's conscience? For if I by grace be a partaker, why am I evil spoken of? For that which is I give thanks. Whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whetherso you do all to the glory of God. Give none offense, neither to the Jews, nor to the Greeks, nor to the church of God, even as I please all men in all things, not seeking mine own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. Be followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. So what is Paul saying here? He said, look, you go to somebody's house, they put down a meal, eat it. Be a good guest. You're going to the market, things are for sale, it's a good price, it's healthy for you, buy it, eat it. But for the sake of conscience, not necessarily your conscience, but for their conscience, if they say this has been sacrificed to idols, now what you don't want to do is be seen to be a participator in that sacrifice. You don't want to say, you don't want to start an argument with them and go, oh, it doesn't really mean anything to me, blah, 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 Jesus did this. What you have to say is, because Jesus Christ is Lord, if this has been sacrificed to idols, for your sake, I'm not going to eat this. I can't be a partaker in this particular food because of its symbolism, right? That it has something to do with these idols, these false gods. But I do it for your sake. I don't want you to think that somehow this might be okay, because that pagan might in fact end up being a Christian, God willing. Right? So we do those things for your sake, right? All things are lawful. You can eat those food, go right ahead, right? But it's not expedient, or it doesn't edify others, then don't do it, right? So we do keep it in mind, even though it's okay for us, we want to always be looking to how it is that we can help others to know Jesus Christ and not cause offense. So today's Thursday, obviously no services today because of my surgery, but I do pray that you have a day full of blessings.